Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, and today we are going to be listening to a clip that was sent to me from one of Gunz' streams where he talks about the NVR move situation, which presumably I imagine is his main account based on some of the other voices you're going to hear from. And there appears to be this undertone that I don't know if really was ever talked about between him and Jason and IMFS supposed departure. We're going to listen to this, break this down, and I'd love to hear if you're picking up what I'm picking up or if you have a different opinion. Let me know in the comments below. As always, if you enjoy the content, help us out, those are quick because it means a lot and does a lot. Here we go.
They have 32 minutes left on that siege.
Listen, I didn't want to say it. I hope you don't get the rose skin. There.
That's crazy.
I hope.
I didn't want to say it, but you
I don't
forced it
even
out of
have
me.
Max Deco. I wouldn't even make the team, bro.
Good.
Brother, your R5 is a free to play. What are you?
So this is interesting already from the beginning because we know for a fact that Gunz played on the Noir team, if not one of the row teams, but also was row leading as well during the last season. Whether it was the main lead, I can't remember if it was the main lead or it was like a co-lead that he was doing because, again, he had touched on it. So for him to say that he doesn't even know if he's going to make the team, I just find that a little weird or off. I guess it also, maybe he is privy to information that we are not, to a point where maybe he already knows who are going to be those 30 slots or so, plus maybe any subs that will be included in that, and maybe he's aware of all the people that are going to potentially be on the main team, and he just doesn't think that his account would qualify or be eligible. I don't know. That seems a little off to me because that would mean that you would need at least 40, 45 players that are all have better suited and equipped accounts than you do and are also more interested in participating and would be more cohesive and compatible with the team than you are. Again, is that where it's going, or is he more of just kind of joking and throwing that out? Right. So that was a little weird to me on that one, just because from what I know, he loves playing row. He loved doing it the first season. So why wouldn't that continue for this upcoming second?
You saying NVR's R5s are free to play? None of them have max decos. All right, you're about to be their head. You're about to be their fucking head start of a fucking player with the highest decos in that alliance because they're all a bunch of free to play fucks.
Jason, thank you for the next YouTube short, few thousand views for that one. JasonGee speaks on the NVR project on his.
Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, listen. Is Jason legitimate here, and these people being free to play? No, obviously they're not. However, I think the free to play comment is more referring to if you're looking at kind of average account strength and eligible strength, or maybe competency strength for what they're going to be participating in with Row League, with obviously the need for having max decos and other stats to go along with that. Probably just referring more to the fact that they may not be as equipped or well equipped compared to other teams going in. But it also means that if Gunz is leaving IMFS, which you have to understand, this to me is almost a bigger story because of the fact that he's been there for so long, and he's been there through literal ups and downs, multiple, the trials, the tribulations. He has been there for the most part through a lot of it. And it then begs the question to me, which I think is probably the overarching question, which is why leave, right? If he is leaving with his main, which that's how it appears, that's how it sounds. Why do you leave? What happened here? Because Gunz has other accounts in other kingdoms / other gen pools, so he can try and take advantage of the best of his ability to play accounts in other KVK gen groups to have a more consistent rotation of being able to do live streams for pass openings, for statues, for wars, etc. So yeah, maybe we'll get to that a little bit later. Let's continue.
Hold on.
And I
Let's take
quote-
a
and I
vote,
quote,
chat.
Jason G
Chat.
said, "I'd rather shit in my hands and clap than ever joining NVR."
Yes.
That's kind of nasty.
Chat. Let's take a vote. Is NVR gonna go to Row League first, or is Abda gonna retire before then
It
for the
depends
30th
if he
fucking
has
time?
a camping trip, a hunting trip.
It depends if he
on
gets a good enough account to play on.
Or is Pepe gonna lose one more time and then disband again? Which is happening first?
Sheesh.
Pepe is not an R5.
Or are you gonna
He's
use,
killer.
or are you gonna use the eagle that's in the R4 ranks to?
So I'm going to be honest. Now I feel like I'm somewhat getting mixed signals here. Why? Well, if Gunz is confirmed to be joining, and maybe he's just going along with it, right? Because it's one of those kind of boys will be boys situation where it's like, hey, man, we're just kind of hanging out and chatting, and, people are going to say whatever they want to say. But I almost wonder if, is it one of those things where, like, because effectively, the homie Jay Geezy is kind of shitotting on NVR along with anyone else in this VC that may or may not say something, and Gunz is kind of going along with it, not really defending, at least at the moment for how far we're in, too hard, right, on the NVR team that he's going to be joining. Now, is it more of him just trying to kind of be copacetic and kind of play both sides, or kind of be neutral and not necessarily lean in one way or the other? Maybe it's because, wanted to kind of maintain relationships, not necessarily burn bridges. That could be one way of looking at it. The other way could also just be, again, right, and I think maybe that would be I don't want to say the worst case, but maybe in one path going down, is it him, joining? It's just, it's weird to me, right? Because it's like, if you're leaving, you have to have reasons you're leaving for. And, but at the same time, and this isn't to say as though, hey man, we can't be friends anymore, right? Not at all. You can leave on good terms. And I think for the most part, it seems that probably is more or less the case. So maybe it's just, one side kind of taking some shots and Gunz like, right, but then just kind of keeps things going. I don't know, right? Maybe are we reading too much into that? Maybe not enough. You let me know. Let's continue.
You can go there. You're about to go there thinking that we're part-timers. You're going to be in fucking a retirement home. All right. From what I'm hearing, and I haven't even kept up to date with shit, but from what I hear, they've been saying they recruited players that aren't even joining them to get other players to say yes to joining them.
Damn, you know more about the project than me, apparently.
Shit.
Okay, so that one is interesting. This is, you could argue this is like a marketing kind of salesmanship strategy, if that obviously is true and ends up being the case. This is something I have seen actual other kingdoms do, where they've talked about, hey man, we're in talks with these people to potentially bring them over. We'd love to have you join, as a way to kind of fill out a prerequisite of saying, hey man, we've just had these other people join because we said this group was going to be joining, or these amount of players were going to join, and it got other players to join. And then because those other players joined, then the players in the first group or first batch that they really wanted to join ended up joining, or maybe some of them did, right? So part of it is marketing, part of it is salesmanship, right? That is a factor to it as well. I imagine, especially when you're considering about trying to be a competitive row team, which clearly NVR in 375 wants to be, along with a number of others, right? So you're kind of, it's funny to say, right? But when you're at the top groups and the top level for mostly, let's just say A seeds in this case, that are going to be in the main row league pool, not the newcomers pool, or the legendary one, you're probably vying for and competing for players at the top within that pool of players. My kingdom at number 4 is wanting to recruit some people to refine my team. Our kingdom at number 2, number 1, our kingdom at number 7, number 8, right, is wanting to recruit for our row team. So I imagine NVR is probably more or less, again, if they're even doing any of that, it isn't far off to think that, there's not multiple kingdoms that have done that at some point. Again, hopefully you would believe that, they're not, you know, lying, so to speak, or manipulating, which again, I haven't seen anything, at least publicly, right, that's been shared for any kingdom and team at that. But yeah, this isn't, you know, I don't think out of the realm of like, you know, wow, wild. Now, obviously, if something comes to light, that's a different story.
Oh
Bro,
my god.
Jason, don't talk shit
how
about
do you know
your
that?
future alliance like that, bro. Stop it.
Oh.
I would rather beat
Stop
my
it.
meat with sandpaper than ever even send a like fourth account that I have to that shithole of an alliance.
Bro,
Motherfucker talk about me being a part-timer. The only
You know?
he's like, guys, I gotta go for the content. I gotta get the content of my R5's retiring for the 17th time in a row. Who the fuck do you even have there that's even a remotely good war lead? Sorry, Colic is a good war lead, but that motherfucker hopped around alliances more than fucking you did when me and you fought.
Hey, listen, let me tell you, when you had Prime TFS that entire year, it was rough, my boy. Let me tell you. So the hopping around wasn't by choice.
All right, now you're about to go there. You're about.
Okay. So to me, this is where you're finally getting some true colors, right, being shown. Where, yeah, man, it's laughs and it giggles, but it's some honesty from Gunz, you know, if you kind of strip away some of the face value, you know, upfront persona, right, that you're getting right now, which is him genuinely admitting, like, look, man, because this was at a time, I think if he's referring to the time where he finally started going out with alt accounts that he was leveling up and playing, but started placing them in different gen pools. And we talked about this earlier, right? I don't think that was like by default. And he was also doing this at a time when TFS was not at its peak, right? They were fighting in some of the lower pools. They had gone through a couple rebuilds. There were times where they were really they were very low and they were working their way back up. And so Gunz decided, well, look, man, let me go and use some of my alt accounts, put them in different kingdoms that are in different gens, strong kingdoms that could possibly participate in the KVK1 for that gen pool, right? And let me go ahead and move it and play there, right? One of the reasons why he was playing in War Ducks, I think they might have been in G3 or another pool, at least at the time, or maybe currently. And right, so this was kind of the strategy, right? Because again, streaming the fights and playing, right, along with some other CCs that do that, right, back then, that was important, right, for Gunz, as I'm sure it still is, right, to continuously kind of getting that content out. But to me, this is kind of a moment of, and again, I don't think this is anything like bad against TFS by means. I think it's just the reality of Gunz, of his position on top of what he would like to do.
Gotta go there and fuck it. You know what? I'm gonna let you, just like I let you learn your lesson last time on your own. You're gonna learn your lesson again. We're gonna get a DM in less than a season. Be like, guys, the content, it ain't it right now. I'm gonna have to come back to my boys because that's the only fun I've had. I can't deal with this. None of them are listening. Blah blah blah. Like we know the spiel you're gonna give. We're just gonna wait for the time you're gonna give it.
I kind of want to do it.
So I mean, dude, this is ballsy to say, right? Because you know, Gunz does not come off to me as someone who is unintelligent, who does not think things through, right? Him, you know, along with his lady, you know, that I had the opportunity to meet when I went to the New York City meetup, you know, they presented themselves to me as polished, as well-versed, well-read, well understood in how are we maximizing, how are we kind of getting the best out of our situation. And the first moment for me where I was like, okay, dude, Gunz is like really realizing and recognizing his position and the kind of direction he wants to go on the streaming side, at least with one piece of the type of content he puts out. And like I said, that was with expanding and putting alt accounts in different gens, right? So he could try and have an account in each of the 4 gen pools, vying for a KVK1 spot, and then increasing the frequency that he could stream from that angle. Because it's not like Gunz is necessarily going to come on and do a live stream like I would in my case, where we're covering like news, or if I'm doing like KVK group or stat or data play here and there, right? Like maybe one off here and there, but like he has his lane, Lasto kind of has his lane. You have a couple other people that obviously will stream to as well. And so to me, I thought, hey, this was the first thing that I had noticed that he was doing, which I was like, man, this is strategically and tactically really well done. It was very thought out. And so I look at this situation, which again, it's not like he wouldn't have had opportunities. I mean, Gunz probably could arguably go to any kingdom he wanted to, right? Because he's a competitive player. He really cares. He puts the effort in. And on top of that, he loves Row. So to say that he wouldn't have had an opportunity to go somewhere else, but yet he chose NVR, to me, that is interesting. That's more interesting than maybe him leaving IMFS that he's been with. If not just as interesting, I probably should say, right? Because then it's like, well, why wouldn't you have opted to go to another strong contender, right? Did Abda sell him? Was it other people that were participating that maybe he's played with and or against at certain times? Like, to me, those are the two biggest stories I think out of this, which is one, what ultimately led him to leave IMFS, especially because now they are back at the top, right? Are they just not going to have, like, what's going on? Are they not going to have a competitive row team? Does he think that NVR is going to have a more competitive row team than IMFS? Are there more internal issues going on in IMFS than maybe we are aware of at the moment? Because to me, I'm shocked that this is not a bigger story for people out there. And then, it's just like, wow, man. And then what does that say about some of the other kingdoms? Or did he just not even give anyone else a look, a glance, an opportunity of even, trying to kind of persuade him, right? Or pitch him, if you will, ongoing. So like, dude, to me, that this is wild.
I kind of want to do a gamble with you of NVR will be top 1 or 2 alliance, yes or no. How much would you be willing to bet against that?
I'm willing to bet my nuts against that. They are not.
Whoa.
I know the top fighters, and no one wants to go there. They're literally wittowing saying they recruited a group of players that have no idea that they're even joining or thought about even joining to get another group of players in.
They're widowy wined everyone.
The only thing that they have going for them is that Gunz is like, oh my god, NVR rolling.
Oh my god.
Gunz, we need a title.
Okay. First and foremost, Jake Easy, thank you for the new soundboards and clips. I'm sure people will enjoy. Okay. This is it feels like it's diving a little bit deeper now, right? Gunz is saying, hey man, we're willing to make a bet here on whether it's, I imagine, again, I don't know if this is 1 or 2 kingdoms or 1 or 2 for Raw. I'm assuming this is probably still Row League talk on like coming in as like what ranked of a row team for that kingdom. But yeah, I mean, it is, listen, it is funny to me. I want to be clear. It is funny to me that, which is kind of, there's 2 sides on the Gunz part that Jason said of, the only reason him making the claim, the only reason why they're going to be relevant, right, is because of Gunz joining. This is funny because keep in mind, at one point in time, Gunz was not a part of TFS. He joined at TFS. And if you think about, there's some slight hypocrisy here, right? Which I don't necessarily maybe know if it's ill-intended or not. But the hypocrisy to me is that at one point, Gunz was not a part of TFS. Gunz also stuck around when TFS was at its lowest points and continued to go to bat and battle for TFS and continued to recruit for them as well, which again was a major factor, right? Like he put the word out there just as much, if not more so than others did. And there was a cachet that came with that. And you being able to play there, getting more, like there was value, right? Because of Gunz being able to put some awareness, to put some promotion to people's names, to the team, to the kingdom, to the management, right? Everyone kind of elevates a little bit more into somewhat of a spotlight, just depending on the degree of it. And so obviously Jason knows this, but then for him to make that comment on, hey, they're only going to be relevant because I mean, but you could make the argument that TFS at one point was only relevant because Gunz was there at its lowest point. And there's some similarities because of the fact that NVR is still recruiting. They are arguably at their lowest point because they're, kind of their trajectory is hopefully going up, right? With people going there through whether it's individual migrations or group or larger merges for people that will eventually be heading there to 375, which again, I don't think there's going to be 0 people going there to 375. I mean, if anything, that would be a shocking and wild story. So yeah, again, I just at least wanted to kind of cover that from both sides. Let's continue.
Change.
You made that sound way too good, Jay. Honestly.
I after seeing you next to Abda and not backing up a few inches, I know what that sound is like. When he's fucking bruising the back of your throat like that.
IMFS
You are-
R5 bets his nuts on NVR not succeeding. That's crazy.
That should
Just like
probably be
every
tasty, though.
merge, they're gonna have the hype around them for like one season, then everyone's gonna realize who the fucking leadership is and what their alliance is, and be like, all right, I'm over this. Bye.
All right,
And
Jason.
then Jason's gonna go war lead for YSS in their downtime.
Jason said that he'd
Yeah,
rather
it looks
he'd
like they're
rather
downtime.
he'd rather join Tiny than do the MVR group.
Without a doubt. That's the easiest choice I've ever had to make. If you gave me that option, but I easily would I choose going to fucking I than fucking NVR.
Can we please go there, Papa?
Let's go, Papa.
Well, looks like NTS is getting crushed.
So that's pretty wild, right? To make that statement. Now I'm almost wondering is that just a joke? Because I mean, it came off as a joke, right? Where he's clearly not being that serious, at least from how it sounds. And now I'm almost wondering, okay, well, if Jason's saying that about he'd rather go join Tiny, which is wild because, from what I remember, when Tiny eventually left and went to, I forget, I think it was 167 or somewhere else before he eventually went to 509. From what I understand, they left on maybe somewhat amicable terms, from what I can briefly recall. And for him to bring him back up, I mean, there's got to be some level of respect and appreciation there between Jason and Tiny. I mean, Tiny was basically, the new Sod at that time, right? For the OGs out there who remember, right before Sod split off with Tinsy and went to go do Echo in 60, and 23 eventually moved to 40, which was TFS going there, then obviously where they're at now. And did that relationship just maintain? Did it, kind of stabilize and continue to improve season over season? But for him to mention that does make me wonder, well, is there more to that or no? Was that just kind of a joke throwing that off to the side? Because he could have named anyone. He could have said any kingdom, right? But he said that one. With that in mind, I'd love to know what you guys think about this, man. This was a wild couple minutes of a clip here because there was so much that was said. What stuck out to you? What do you think is true? What do you think was just a joke? What do you think was said where there's more to it than maybe meets the eye? If you got anything you want to share, as always, feel free to slide into your boys' DMs on Discord. You can also reach out to me in-game. My ID is going to be in the description, pin comment down below. And as always, man, you guys know I love to cover any clips, any videos, screenshots you got for me, a story, a lead, something I can track down. Man, we love doing this stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.